Wagwan brothers, welcome back to the Jack's podcast. I'm Jack.
I'm also Jack Wagwan.
Right now, we are in Jamaica.
The beautiful land of Anna It's absolutely incredible. I mean, look at the view. It's like a Photoshop zoom background.
It really does look like a Zoom background. This is crazy. But yeah, we've been here for 5 days, and like me personally, I've just been having a time of my life here. It's absurd. This is the most beautiful beach I've ever seen in my entire life. The water is so warm. Every place in this resort looks like a 4K wallpaper. It's just absurd. It's so beautiful.
It's crazy. My mom sent me like photos from like TripAdvisor, and I was like, oh, like that looks nice. But then I get here and it looks nothing like the photos. Like it's like 10 times prettier. It's like it's way bigger than I thought. It's absolutely gorgeous. The first day that we got here, we were having like some drinks in the pool, and I was like, look at this. This view is crazy. I was like, this is wild.
Yeah, speaking of drinks, I drank for the first time.
Oh yeah,
my entire life. It was crazy.
First drink ever. What was it?
I had a bourbon on the rocks.
It was strong.
Did you take a sip?
I did take a sip.
Yeah, it was. Everyone was saying that I shouldn't do that because it's way too strong, but I had to do it because my guitar Daisy is a 1959 Les Paul replica bourbon burst. And ever since I got that guitar, I decided that my first drink would be a bourbon, and my first drink was a bourbon.
First legal drink too. I also had my first legal drink because every other time I drank, it was illegal.
That's crazy. I never thought about that.
Yeah. So
that's wild. What else did we drink?
The strawberry daiquiris, those were crazy.
Yeah, those are pretty good.
I really
a lot of shots of tequila.
Not a lot, but like shots.
Yeah,
those were kind of mid, obviously, because they're just tequila. But I really enjoy like maybe I'm zesty, but I like the fruity drinks. Like the pina coladas were great. I had a La Margarita. That was great.
I had 2 Tom Collins last night.
Yeah, there was one night we went out to this really fancy restaurant called the Del Mar, and we had like this wine. It was incredible. The coffee here is insane.
It's out of this world.
Like,
it's the best coffee I've ever had.
Same. Like, if you're in America and you have coffee, like maybe the first sip is like mid, and then it just is downhill from there. This coffee is incredible, and you can take it like good. Black too, and it's like fine.
Yeah, it tastes so good.
It's very good. So we've been having the time of our lives, just living in the moment.
Yeah, there are so many bugs around this though. That's the one thing. Is that it's so warm here that there's just mosquitoes and fleas and flies all over the place. Like there was just a fly on my microphone just walking around.
Yeah, but we got the bug spray, so it's
that's true. So that came in clutch. You can't see my knees, but I got ridiculously sunburned because we went out on a boat, and this dude told me you don't need to put sunscreen on your legs.
Who?
His name's Malachi. Yeah, he told me that you don't.
We got our boy Casablanca in the background.
Yeah, he's watching this film right now. But yeah, this epic dude, he told me that you don't need to put sunscreen on your legs, and me personally, I need to because it is just horrible. But it's starting to turn into a tan, which is pretty nice. But
I got super tan. Like I don't even know if y'all can tell.
Because what is that on your hand? Was it always like that?
That's a birthmark.
I've never noticed that. He has a birthmark on his hand. I've known you for like almost 2 years.
Everybody has commented on it before.
That's wild. I feel like it's only like becoming really visible now because you're tan.
Not at all. Trust me.
You will always been there.
You will know. I'll pull up a photo of my hand,
dude. I can't believe it. I didn't know he had a birthmark on his hand.
But yeah, we've just been chilling, living in the moment, enjoying. The food here is also crazy style good. So I think I've gotten shrimp like every time I've gone out. The steak was very good.
Yeah. Bro, I'm Chinese. I eat a lot of Chinese food, which is a lot of seafood, and the shrimp here is on par with like Asian shrimp. Like Asian shrimp is S tier, and the shrimp here is on par with it. It's so good.
Very good. Yeah. It's the Wagwan touch.
Yeah. Speaking of on par.
Yo. Yeah, bro. We turned up. I told y'all, or we were talking last time, how we went golfing he went golfing for the first time, and we had to go again. It was us. It was the Youngins versus Big Unks, my brother and his friend Casa, and 18-hole match. You know, we won, obviously, but I think put us on the map. I was always driving to get us up there to the green, and then Quandale would finish the job.
Yeah, my putt game is pretty clutch. I look like Andre Iguodala in overtime, you know.
Very, very clutch. I remember there was a point where we were up three in the first. We won the first 9 holes, and then on the back half, we were down 3. And I was like, and we had money on this, or I had money on it, $100. So I stole $100 from Casa and Michael. And I was like, I am not losing this game. And they were smack talking, and I was like, hey, MJ said it best. A real man can talk trash when he's down. Anybody can talk trash when they're up 5.
Yeah.
And
everybody acting tough when they up.
I had to activate, and after they started like getting like chirpy and stuff, every single drive I had was just straight down the fairway.
This dude was locked in. He went silent. He stopped talking to me. He was so locked in.
I wasn't losing.
He was like LeBron in Game 6 against the Celtics. Like,
I wasn't losing. But yeah, we stole $100. Pretty easy.
Incredible.
But we've been living in the moment, which is the title of today's podcast.
It's true.
Just living in the moment. You know, I don't think this is gonna be like a terribly long episode. Just I feel like my biggest struggle in life, and a lot of people's struggle, is like always like, what's the next thing? You know, what's the next thing? Like, after I do this, then I'll be happy. But, you know, that's not true. Like, real contentment with your life comes from living a life that is worthy and pleasing to God. And you will never be able to cleanse yourself of sin without asking for forgiveness. There's no work you can do. Like, no amount of good deeds, but just being able to live in the moment. And for here, as an example, like, when I'm on vacation, like, I'm not thinking about anything else other than vacation. Like, this is vacation is supposed to be this. Like, I'm thinking about the next time I'm going to go eat something, the next time I'm going in the pool. That's what's on my mind. And it should be the same way in church, where it's like, when you're at church and you're worshiping and serving God, your mind should be on worshiping and serving God and nothing else.
Yeah. I wanted to read a passage real quick from Matthew, from the Sermon on the Mount. Matthew 6:34, Jesus says, "So don't worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will bring its own worries. Today's trouble is enough for today." So, yeah, it's kind of like living in the moment is a very like secular thing that people say, but it's rooted in the Bible. Like, like the reason
any good ideology that a human thought of is already in the Bible, and they're like, I'm a genius. Like, nah.
The reason like Jesus said this is because like this is such an important thing that we need to know. Like I could sit here and think about getting a job. I could sit here and think about the next semester, or I could live in the moment. I could think about like, what are we gonna eat? What are we gonna do today? What are we gonna do in the pool? Are we gonna go snorkeling? Whatever. But even outside of this, like, during school, you could worry about like your test. Let's say it's Monday and you have a test on Friday. You could spend your time worrying about the test and saying like, oh, I'm not prepared, I don't know any of this stuff, I don't know this. Or you could think about, what can I do today? Like, I'm gonna study this chapter, I'm gonna do these problems, I'm gonna do it today, and then I'll think about what to do tomorrow. And so it's like, you can take this ideology and this verse and just apply it to every area of your life. Like, instead of thinking about like the end of the month when it's the beginning of the month, think about the beginning of the month, you know. I know me, like, I don't struggle with like worrying about the future as much as others do, I think. Like, I know this passage pretty well, and I've applied it to my life pretty early on, like in high school. And so it's never been a struggle for me that much, but there are times where like I start worrying about the future. Like, one of the most recent times was in like mid-April, I was doing class registration, and I was unable to register for any of my classes during my time slot because like I wasn't a registered business major and I was applying to all business classes. And so there was this whole thing that needed to get worked out, but I got my classes like a week later, and I was on the wait list for pretty much all of my classes. And initially in that moment when I wasn't able to get my classes, I started to really worry and think like, am I not going to be able to do these classes? Am I not going to be a full-time student? Am I not going to be able to go to Chapman? Like all these things were going through my mind, and I really had to like sit and just accept what was happening and say like, Lord, I'm going to trust you right now. The future is not certain right now. I don't know what the future holds, and it isn't worth my time worrying about the future because, you know, there's enough worries for today. And so I was able to just give that to God and say like, Lord, I trust you with this. I trust that you got my back. You're going to make all these things work out. And even if I don't get these classes, I know you have something in store for me. And so, yeah, after taking that moment to just like step back and give it to God and surrender to him, I chose not to think about it, not to worry about it. Every once in a while, I'd, you know, look at my classes and see that I was still on the wait list. But then I'd just say, you know what, like, Lord, I choose to trust you right now. I'm not going to freak out or anything. And actually, a few days before I flew out to Connecticut, checked my email, and I got my last class. And so,
Bang.
finally, a month and a half later, no, like 2 months after I registered for classes, I finally got all of them. We're in the clear, and I don't got to worry about that anymore. And so, yeah, this is like a small little testimony about not worrying about the future, and then God providing exactly how he says he does. And so, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's really cool to think about, like, when it does say, like, tomorrow or today has enough worries of its own. Like, that's true, but it's like tomorrow, and it's so cliche. Like, tomorrow isn't promised, but like me talking right now is promised. Like, I'm talking, and I can only control this. Like, the whole serenity prayer, like, help me to accept the things that I cannot change and courage to change the things I can. I don't think it's saying remain stagnant and like hope for the best. Like, no, like, you can do what you want or do what you should in terms of like going out and looking for those classes, and at a certain point you're gonna have to leave it in God's hands and realize that, you know, tomorrow's not promised, but I do know a creator who literally says like he goes before me, he makes a path before me, and you don't have the ability to go into the future and like clear a way for yourself, but God does.
Yeah.
And there are so many people of like, even in terms of like their finances or whatever, they're like, I don't know how I'm going to get through this. And it's like, these are things like the same verse in Matthew 6, like these things, like the pagans chase after them. Like, your heavenly Father knows you need food. He knows you need these things, and he's one to provide for them and not just leave you in the dust. He knows that Jack needs these classes to, you know, go out and complete what he needs for his major. And it's just such a huge weight to have lifted off of your shoulders. And I talked to my brother about just like worrying about the future in general, and it's like, first off, like, if you're worried about anything other than like if you're worried about what people think of you, everybody's concerned with themselves. Everybody's self-obsessed. Most people don't care about anybody but themselves, and they only look out for themselves. So you don't even really have to worry about that. But imagine you were like stressing out and worrying if this thing was going to happen in the future, and not being able to trust in God and just live in the present moment. And then it doesn't happen. It's like you just spent all that time being anxious for nothing and like worrying over nothing. That amounted to more anxiety than if what you were worried about was going to happen. And it's just like, worrying is pointless, and it sounds like so cliche, but you have to give up control and just give your control over to God and be like, I've done everything I can, like the Lord will provide. And I think it's really cool just being able to hear that testimony about like the classes and stuff, because it's like everybody's thinking about like what's next and like how to satisfy themselves, but it's like, obviously celebrities talk about like, I make all this money, and then it's like, I still feel so empty. And it's like you just have to take it day by day.
Yeah, that's really good. Wanted to ask you, what is something right now that you really care about that you're choosing not to worry about?
Something I really care about that I'm trying not to worry about and choosing not to worry about is just like what I'm going to do after college. I think it's like really awesome to see like how much like God provided for my brother in terms of a job, and I'm like super happy for him. And I'm like worried, like I don't know what I'll do after college. I don't know like if I'll be able to find a good job or what's not, or like what's to come after college. And I know that like it's just as simple as like God's gonna take care of me, and it's like even if he doesn't give me some crazy like high paying job or whatever, like I still can be content in whatever circumstance, because I know that God is like for me and not against me. But it's like a huge weight. It's like I think it's like commit to the Lord all you do and he will establish your plans. And that was like the whole thing when I started and switched my major to creative writing. Like, you know, I want to do everything in my power and use like the gifts or talents God given me to write and touch people's hearts about God. And I don't think God is going to be like, hey Jack, like I want you to switch your major, and then after college I'm not going to help you get a job, or I'm not going to help you use your writing to talk to me or to talk to people about me. So I just know that like the God will come through for me. And really all I want to do in terms of like jobs after college is just like money's not really an issue, just bring glory to God in whatever I do. And I know that God looks for people who want to bring glory to his name, and I think I'm on the checklist.
It's good. I think like right now, like as you know, and I'm sure as some of you know, I really want to be a famous rock star and play loud rock music. And that's been a dream of mine for a very, very long time. And I think my next step is meeting musicians and forming a band. And I haven't done so yet. Right now it's summer, I'm in San Jose, and so I have this like free time right now before I go back to Orange County to try and form this band. And so I'm kind of just waiting, you know. I could choose to worry about whether I'm going to meet people or not, whether I'm going to find musicians or not, people who want to play the same kind of music as me or not. But I'm choosing not to do that because, you know, we're not supposed to worry about tomorrow, like this passage says. And I think, yeah, you mentioned it earlier, but like you have today, do something with what you can today. And so while I'm waiting in this this time period of summer, it's like I could just sit around and do nothing and then just wait until I go back to Chapman, or I could do something now. Like I could become better, like play more guitar, get better, learn how to solo better and be a virtuoso. I could write more songs, I could get better at writing lyrics, all this stuff. It's like that's the stuff that I want to do right now as I'm waiting, because I'm putting my talents to use still. And I'm perfecting it. I'm getting better at it. I'm growing in my ability in it. And for me to not do that would be a waste. Like that's something I think about a lot, is like God has given me this ability to play guitar. God's given me this ability to write songs, to write lyrics. And if I don't use that, I'm wasting it. Like it's going to waste. It's like if God's given you this gift of writing, and if you were to, like right now before you get the job after college, if you were to just like never write but then tell people, oh I write, it's like you're not using the thing God gave you.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like the parable of the talents. I think that's what it's called, where it's like the master gives the servants like one coin and then
he doesn't do
coins.
anything with it.
Yeah, the guy who does nothing with it like gets disowned and thrown into the fire. whereas the others multiplied it. And so it's like right now you can multiply your gift through using it, and I can multiply through using my gifts. And so I think, yeah, we should keep each other accountable in that. Like, just talk about it this summer, see what we're doing. I want to read some of your pieces. I've never read any of your pieces other than the 7-Eleven paper.
That's funny.
But yeah,
no, I agree with that. Keep going.
I was just gonna say, like, I think using your gift and just like working at it constantly, even if it's like just a little bit, even if you're writing like a haiku, like that's like 12 lines, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Or something like that. Like, even if you're just doing a little bit a day, just continually working at it, and like not growing tired of doing what is good, I think is the best you can do in this moment. So like, if there's people out there listening who like have this gift that they want to use but they're not really using it in like the highest way, kind of like me, where it's like I want to play in front of 50,000 people but I can't do that right now, but I can practice in my room and get better. You should find ways to put your gift to use and just like work at it and get better at it. And I think in the long run you will bear a lot of fruit with it. And yeah,
that's very good. I remember I said, I don't even know if I told you this, but like obviously dream job probably would just be like a pastor and then write books on the side, and just like ultimately spread the word of God. And when I was on spring break this semester, or this past semester, I was like so caught up in like the future and really wanted to like know, like try to plan out a way that I could become a pastor or a writer or whatever. And I like made a promise to God and said, like, I don't have the ability to like go up, like I'm nowhere near knowledgeable enough to go up onto a stage and like talk to people about God, but until I reach that stage, like I'm gonna go where I can to InterVarsity. I want to make it the most entertaining Bible study. I'm gonna try to have it like people really understand the word of God. Like I'm gonna do all I can right now. And I think that that's such like an important thing to know. And it's like it's the same thing. It's like you don't, if you're in high school baseball, you don't go up to the MLB and like just start swinging. Like you have to practice what you can right now.
Yeah.
And then you'll bear more fruit. So.
Yeah. And I think elsewhere in the Bible it says like, it's like, if you're trusted with little, you'll be trusted with a lot.
Many, yeah.
Yeah. And so, yeah.
So that's pretty much it. We're gonna go live in the moment in Jamaica and enjoy our last couple hours here. But yeah, thank you guys for watching.
It's been fun. Yeah, I have nothing else to say, but goodbye.